This is the Clark Connection Podcast, your weekly dose of inspiration and power. We'll dive deep into the stories and strategies that ignite personal growth and entrepreneurial fire. Join us as we empower you to take control, level up your leadership, and build the life you deserve. Get ready to rise, to thrive, and to finally become the leader of your own destiny. Let's go.
Welcome to the Clark Connection Podcast. It's great to be here with you. I'm your host, Aaron Clark, a.k.a. The Coach. And now listen, today's episode is going to be a little bit different. You're getting yours truly, all by his lonesome. And so it goes in because what I'm going to do is we're going to go a little bit behind the scenes, talk about stuff that happens behind the curtains, I guess you would say, that people don't typically see. And for those of you that are leaders, that are entrepreneurs, you understand exactly what I'm talking about right now. Just what happens when things don't go to plan. And so gonna also talk about, changes that are coming to the podcast, as we're moving into 2026, what to expect. And then also just going to give you a little bit of sneak peek, a little bit of a taste, what to expect as we roll into our last few episodes here in 2025. Now, before we go off and do all that, I gotta give a quick shout out to my sponsors who make this show possible. And first up, as always, that is Vicki with Hubbard Flooring Studio. That leadership always starts with a strong foundation, and so does your home or office. Vicki and her team don't just cover floors. They help you step into excellence, one plank, tile, or carpet at a time. And now, Hubbard Flooring Studio is offering Hunter Douglas blinds, giving you the ability to set the tone, control the light, and create the perfect environment to lead from. Visit them at their physical location on Boylan Avenue in Baton Rouge. Give them a call at 225-924-1582 or browse their work on their website, hubbardflooringstudio.com. And if you call them right now, then you're looking for a rug, they're 10% off their rugs through Christmas. And they're offering 24 months of 0% interest. If you tell them that Coach Clark sent you, then Vicki and her team are going to give you an additional 10% off of your purchase of your rug, as well as a free bottle of cleaner. At Hubbard Flooring Studio, where strong foundations and bright visions begin. Thanks to Wayne with 7K Metals for all silver and gold. Just like strong leadership, building wealth takes strategy and vision, and Wayne helps you craft a foundation that shines. Shout out to Bobbie with the Comfy Quest, LLC. She helps you realign, recharge, and create the mental and physical space you need to lead your life with balance and clarity. Appreciate you, Andrew, with Automate Integrate Professional Services, making your business run smarter, smoother, and more efficient, giving you the freedom to focus on what matters most. Big thanks to Joseph with Landscape King, transforming yards into beautiful, inspiring spaces that set the stage for creativity, growth, and leadership in every season. And a special thank you to Chris and Jess with C&J Embroidery, bringing your brand to life with custom designs that leave a lasting impression wherever you lead. And look, if your business or your owner is looking to reach a growing audience of leaders, entrepreneurs, and difference makers, I'd love to partner with you. You can learn more about our sponsorship opportunities by reaching out to me directly. You've got my email and socials, websites all up there. And look, it's all down below in the description as well. And guys, while you're here, make sure to like, follow, subscribe. It really helps us grow. And if something in the episode connects with you, share it with a friend who might need encouragement as well. And so let's dive in. Let's really get going talking about, when things don't go to plan. And this my second year doing the podcast now. And so I've been pretty much an entrepreneur all my life. My grandfather started his own business. My dad's been running his own business. And so being an entrepreneur, I like to tell everybody I'm a recovering football coach. things do not go to plan. Almost hardly ever, like whenever you're coaching in any sport. And so you're constantly having to make those adjustments. And so one that just happened recently, like with the podcast here, that is that I lost my producer, my creator, the person that had been putting together my episodes for the last year. And it really threw me for a loop at first, because when I first got started, I had a different producer. And right about that February this year, I found out I was getting a new one. And so I'd really grown to love working with this person, that they were bringing about some great stuff. They adding value, not just to me, but to the value that he was giving to me, it was then passed along to you. And that's what I thought was so important at what was happening. And so whenever I found out that I was no longer going to be working with this person, it really did upset me a little bit, that because they knew exactly what I wanted. They knew exactly how I liked stuff. And so it really was something that just kind of threw me off. But at the time, I was also looking to move and switch companies that I was working with. Didn't feel like I was getting everything that I needed. Now, and I'll take nothing away from that company. They've been phenomenal to me. I loved everything about it. They helped me get started and showed me how to really get out and create and do the podcast thing, to be able to help so many of you. And I hear that from you when I see you around town, at motocross events, at church, and just about anywhere where I see you guys. I hear how the podcast is impacting you. And so very, very, very appreciative of everything that they've done and that they've helped us do. They threw out this. I mean, I think this is I don't even know which episode this is. This might be episode 65. But we're 60 plus episodes in, which is an amazing feat. And it's because of the support that you guys have given me. And I truly believe that it's because you find value in what we are offering with the Clark Connection podcast. We've had just a laundry list of just phenomenal guests that have come on, shared about their experience in being an entrepreneur, they climbing the leadership ladders, they talking about how they grow themselves professionally and personally, and then how to help you do that. And that's all amazing things that we want to make sure we continue to provide here at the Clark Connection podcast. And so, like I said, I was looking to move. It was something that I was looking at, because I could feel and if you've ever been there, you understand what I'm talking about. You could feel hey, I was becoming stagnant, like I was stuck in a rut, and I didn't know how to get to that next level. I'd been talking with several other companies, and it just really is sometimes a tough decision to make and do those changes that are necessary. But those of you that are an entrepreneur, those of you that are leaders, you understand that you've got to be flexible. You can't just be tied into, well, this is the way that we do things, and that's how we always do things. And so you've got to be flexible. You've got to be relentless, and you got to take ownership when you mess up. So that's one thing I'll always do, is own what happens here on the Clark Connection podcast, because ultimately the buck stops with me. I don't pass it to anybody else. I've had wonderful guests, got a wonderful co-host in Caitlin, but everything that happens on here, to make sure that we provide the best, and really to make sure that I'm giving you my stretch, because y'all know I don't believe in the giving your best, because I think that's a cop-out. And so I want to be able to provide and give you that best. And so before we transition to kind of where I'm thinking about going, I want to ask you guys, and drop this down in the comments, that tell us, give us some example to help us with this. Tell us, when was the time that plans changed suddenly? That, what happened? That, did you get stuck in that frustration, or did you try to find the opportunity in it? That, think back and pause and really, tell us a time when it didn't go as planned and how they use that opportunity to create yourself to be better. So look, seriously, press pause right now. Think about it, drop it in the comments below. And that way you never know. Your comment below that you might be thinking, Aaron, nobody will want to listen. But when you drop your information, your comments below, this helps encourage other people as well. And that's what I love. We want to make sure with the Clark Connection podcast and really with the Coach Clark Leadership and Development Company that we are adding value to people. So make sure they share your story with other people. So press pause, do that right now. And so, like I said, things were not going. There was other things with the podcast. The company I was working with. I just felt like there was more. I was trying to get more. I wanted to grow, be better, to give back to you guys. And so I knew I had to make a change. I knew I had to make a switch, and it couldn't have come at a more opportune time. I had the person that ended up reaching out to me. That was somebody that I was comfortable with, that I knew, and I trusted them to be able to help produce a quality podcast. And they're bringing us all sorts of great suggestions. And so this is where you'll see some things change. That you'll start to notice that we're going to have some banners that rolling in our episodes. You'll start to see different graphics and visuals that will be added. You'll get to see things like, hey, coming up in the episode, how we go about announcing sponsors. And there's a lot of really cool stuff coming on. And so it's going to really, it really gives me the ability to be able to give you guys what I truly envision the Clark Connection podcast being. Which is not just something that's here, that's local, but it becomes this huge national thing where we're helping to create and develop leaders. Because ultimately that's what it's about, guys. That's one of the most number one ranking classes now in colleges. They're starting to offer leadership development, leadership training. And that's because there's a lack of leadership in this country. And you don't have to look very far. Go look in your local government. Go look in your state government. Go look at the national government. Go look. There's a lack of leadership there. And my goal is to want to be able to help spread that and to cultivate the leaders who are passionate about helping other people. When you become a leader, it's not about you. It's not about me anymore. That when you become the one who's the target, got the target on the back, you're the one at the top. It's not about you anymore. Okay, guys? They follow me on that. Leadership is just another fancy word for server. You are the one that's serving the team, serving your people. And look at it and don't say, this is how many people I have working for me. Look at it and say, this is how many people I'm serving. How many people am I helping? And this is going to give us the ability, the new company, and you'll start to see it. They're rolling right in with our very next episode. Okay. And depending on how some of the things roll out, they will depend on which episode rolls out next. But take a moment. I want you to think. When was the last time that you had to pivot in business, leadership, life? How did you decide when it's time to make a change versus staying the course? What helps you stay grounded when everything around you starts shifting? Go ahead, look, again, press pause, take a second and share that this is a community of like-minded individuals who want to help and celebrate your stuff that's going on, but also cheer you on as you're going and provide encouragement. That's one of the things I found. I recently joined the CBMC, which is the Christian Businessmen Baton Rouge. And it's been such an amazing experience having a group of men who understand what it means to be growing your own business, to be working on yourself personally and to growing yourself. And it provides that community that we all need. And so make sure they drop those drop those comments in there, letting others know, when did you have to make that pivot? That you never know. It could be something just as simple as saying, I had something going bad, and so I made this change, and this is how it worked. It could be 2 to 3 sentences, but it could be something life-changing for other people. It's like what we were talking about in Lion Chaser when we were reviewing that, talking about Mr. Roy. And when you go and you live out your dreams, you're allowing other people, you're helping encourage other people to go live out their dreams. So share that, share your struggles, share your successes. We want to encourage you and celebrate with you. And so, sneak peek of stuff coming up. They have several great shows coming up for you. That depending on I may have a live episode. So one that we may do that may be live. And if it does happen, it will be this Saturday. I don't know what time yet. I'm waiting on the guest. If they are not available to come on this Saturday, we will be recording. It'll be a little bit later. It'll be sometime in December, but they will come on as a guest of the show. So definitely make sure you're tuned in. You're subscribed to all my socials, because I will be dropping it there. I will let you know for sure if we're doing it. I'll either Facebook, the Coach Clark Connection Podcast, or Instagram, the Coach Clark Connection Podcast. One of those two. And look, the links are below. If you just click, it'll take you right there, and you can get all of that latest information on that if they were having that live episode. So I'm pretty excited about that one if it does come true. So depending on whether that happens or not, depends on whether or not or when this one comes out. But the very next scheduled one is with Case DuPont of Roof Gecko. And man, the Case has a fantastic story talking about leading with resilience and the systems and processes that this man has developed to help his team be more successful. Phenomenal. And then they were also going to have on the show one of my good friends, Mike O'Brien, founder of Connext. And look, we talk about communication. We talk about AI. We talk about leadership in business. We talk about successful entrepreneur ventures. And we talk about some unsuccessful entrepreneur ventures. That Mike has done a lot of different things. Then we'll have co-host Caitlin Michelet back on the show. We're going to be doing a book review of The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews and the 7 decisions that shape personal success. Okay. And so this one is, guys, if you have not read The Traveler's Gift, you need to go read The Traveler's Gift. Especially before we do the book review, because it is phenomenal. And that's why it's so important to make sure that you like, subscribe, and follow the show, and then share it with a friend. And look. And make sure, because you want to stay tuned in. That live episode, I'm excited to do it. That you may see us test that out a little bit this week just to see how to do it. I had never done a live through to where it posts it to multiple different streaming platforms. And so kind of excited to try that. I'm pretty excited to see how that goes, because I want to make sure that when we do this, that it's going to be cool. It's going to be so special. And it's going to be with, if we are able to make it, the live, it'll be with a Hall of Famer. Okay. So I'm pretty excited about this, that you guys are going to love it. Okay. So make sure you share this with friends and family, because they will be able to do that. Guys, that's stuff that because of you and what you're able to add on here, we've brought in local leaders, we've brought in that Mayor President Sid Edwards, that we've brought in other people who are helping to run in the staff. Sandy Michelet was one that was phenomenal. She's doing such great stuff with the women in our community here in Baton Rouge, that we've brought on several successful businessmen. We brought on Corey and Josh to talk about firefighting and Fire Safety Month, which is actually this month right now. So, I mean, we've had some great great guests. Like, we've had NFL coaches on here. We've had high school state championship coaches. Like, there's been a lot of people that's been great. Like, that you guys have made that happen. You guys, because of your commitment and how you follow the show, that you guys have made that possible. Just want to quickly round it out. Guys, sometimes things, they just don't go how you plan to make them, but leadership is about how you respond to it. People don't judge you on how you act. They judge you on how you react when adversity happens. So take that time to really think it through, to press that pause button. And, that make sure that you keep showing up, learning, and adapting, because that's where growth happens. Also, that I want to make sure that I give a big, huge thank you to our premier sponsor, Vicki Hubbard with Hubbard Flooring Studio. This would not be possible without you, Vicki. Thank you so much. And if you're not already connected with me on social media, I'd love to continue the conversation there. Just search Coach Clark on your favorite platform. And remember, you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. So until next time, keep growing, keep leading, keep connecting, and I'll see you on the next episode, Clark Connection Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Clark Connection Podcast, where my goal is to add value to you. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow the show. You can also connect with me via my website, coachaclark.com, or on all socials at coach_A_Clark. The links are in the description. Huge thanks to my sponsors, Wayne with 7K Metals, Bobbie with the Comfy Quest LLC, Andrew with Automate Integrate Professional Services, Joseph with Landscape King, and Chris and Jess with C&J Embroidery. We look forward to bringing you more great content. See you next week.